Have you considered going to therapy but still feel scared to schedule an appointment? And you are not alone in this one, trust me. So many people procrastinate their way into therapy. And mainly due to misconceptions that they have heard during their lives. So today, let's talk about these misconceptions, this fear that may prevent you from achieving the life that you want. I am Carmen Roman. I am a clinical psychologist and I have been working for 30 years providing psychotherapy. So let's unpack this topic and let's see what you can take from it. Let's start. Living in harmony is possible if you know your emotions and how to handle them. I am Dr. Carmen Roman and I will share with you the current psychology by myself or by interviewing experts who will inspire you. Learn how to live a life of fullness and how to recover your emotional harmony. Welcome to Emotions in Harmony. Yes, welcome back to this episode about these common fears of starting your own therapeutic process. Welcome also if you are new to this podcast, Emotions in Harmony. You can go to our website and see what else we have there. We have like more than 200 episodes published. You can also go to our YouTube, Emotions in Harmony, which is the newest channel, so you can go and subscribe. Also, you can go to the Spanish one, Armonía Emocional, and enjoy the more than 400 videos that we have there. So, this is an extremely important topic because some of my clients share with me that it took them very long time to come to the first session. And so much that sometimes they get lost, literally lost driving to the session. They confuse stuff. They get really nervous or they don't sleep the night before. What I am going to say, how the therapist is, what is going to think about me, all of these fear that are not really needed, but very human. Yes, very human. This is what makes us human. When you manage to pass that fear, you enter the road for your personal development. So let's keep this little push today. Yeah. Going to therapy can change your life in many wonderful ways. But taking that particular decision, searching for the right therapist, and finally scheduling your appointment can be a very long inner journey. And sometimes with a lot of fears and doubts. Regardless of the progress that we have made in the last decade or two about negative stigmas that surround the mental health topics, many people still feel insecure about the idea of going to therapy. They rather suffer. They suffer tremendously, being in silence and keeping their problems for themselves, rather than taking that risk of somebody else listening to them. The fear of being stigmatized is very real. It can be counted as one of the multiple fears that people have when considering going to therapy. I read somewhere in the literature about therapy that a person may take a year between the time they decide and the time they actually step into the first session. And sometimes I ask my clients, and it took them a year. It's so delicate, that process, that we try to eliminate every possible barrier. Yeah, I have a team that answer the phones, that they are nice, that they answer the text as soon as we can. We literally answer in person. We don't let the machine to answer. Like all of these kind of things that may help the person to feel more at ease. Most of the people that contact us prefer to do it by text. Somehow text feels like less risky, yeah? And that's okay. Yeah. Some of them they prefer to have the link and they just go and schedule themselves, and I don't hear anything until the first session. So every journey is different. And if you have been thinking about it, please stay until the end because we are going to talk about how you can ease yourself into it. What about a service that works 100% in the background, that you don't even know it exists, but you cannot live without? That's GReminders. What about if you connect your calendars, like Google or Outlook calendar, you connect with your clients in a very simple, efficient way. They set up an appointment with you and you automatically send reminders 24 hours, 2 hours, 10 minutes, 2 minutes before the appointment. Hey, your business will be thriving. So, if you want to learn more about GReminders, please go to our affiliate link for you to get just a discount just because you are so an amazing listener of the podcast Emotions in Harmony. So go to greminders.com/harmony and learn about this amazing tool. And tell me about it too. Okay, let's continue with our topic. Some people may have a hard time telling other people that they want to go to therapy or even accepting for themselves. If you want to go to therapy and you don't want to anybody to know, you may feel that they will think that you are crazy or you are ungrateful or you are incapable of managing your own life. That fear of being judged by a family or a friend can be a huge obstacle that actually hinders your journey to an inner growth. On the contrary, you may end up telling your problems to somebody in the taxi, yeah, or somebody in the airplane, or somebody that you don't know in the bar, or something. And that leaves you vulnerable because that person, even though with the best intention, is not prepared to listen to you in a professional way. It's like if we go to, I don't know, to a lawyer, no? We don't want to go to a lawyer, but we ask around our friends what they think about that procedure or that procedure, and then we take it for granted. We say, yes, this is what we need to do, even though you never consulted with a lawyer. It's the same here, yeah. It's normal that you may have the fear of being judged. Many people believe that by going to a therapist and sharing their deepest thoughts and secrets, they are putting themselves in a place where they can be judged by the therapist. This is a very common misconception, probably because you already judged yourself, because you are hard on yourself, and you think, well, the other person is going to laugh or is going to think bad of me. First of all, psychotherapists are prepared and trained to listen, and they probably listen many hundreds of thousands of stories, depends on the therapist you choose. Trust me, at some point there is nothing that very new in the universe after I hear like many stories. And yet, every story is so unique. It's like a flower in the garden. We may have seen many flowers, and every flower is beautiful and unique. So, most likely, it's maybe yourself who are judging yourself. So don't do that job. Yeah, don't do that job against yourself. Just let it go and show up for the first session. Being ridiculed or judged in therapy is very unlikely to happen, but you will not know that unless you go. And our job as a therapist is to create that safe space and safe environment for you. And we are humans too. Of course, we have our own opinions and judgments, of course, yeah. So if you ever feel judged by myself, by any therapist, please tell them, I think you are judging me here, and then they can tell you what is going in their mind. It's a conversation, remember, if that ever happened. But most likely it will not. So other fear is the fear of facing emotional pain. You may come to therapy with a variety of goals in mind, but you may be afraid that you are going to touch or explore or go deep into your experiences and feelings. And you don't go to therapy because you avoid talking about these things that are painful and that are part of your story. It's a common belief that if I leave this pain alone, it will go away. But the truth is, it will not. Actually, it can get worse. Imagine for a moment that you put food in the fridge and then you seal the fridge and you leave it there for days, for months. Even worse, you disconnect the fridge because you think that what is there is not important, and you leave it for months or years. By the time you open that fridge, my dear friend, oh my God, this is going to be very difficult. And if you want to clean that fridge, it's going to be painful. Yes, but the only way to use that fridge again is to open it and clean it, and there you go, you have it again. And with your emotions, our emotions in general, we tend to put them back in our mind, back in our well being, like really back in the closet, and pretend that they don't exist. Guess what? They jump out on you when you expect the less. When you actually are performing in front of a boss or in your, I don't know, in your work or in your family or something, or you are feeling successful or something, they come and just take you. Why? Because you didn't pay attention on time. Yeah. So hiding your emotions is not an answer. And yes, it's going to be painful, but this is why you have the therapist for. Sometimes I compare my profession with the one of a surgeon. If I am doing a heart surgery, I can need to be extremely skilled and careful. How much to open, when to open, where to push more or to open more or to cut here or to cut there. So my job is going to be to guide you safely through the exploration of your emotions. And there are a lot of stories, of course, of therapists that they don't do that, or some people, some clients refer us, they leave me open. Yeah. This is why you need to shop around and look for credentials and look for expertise. And it's okay to go to one session of therapy and then you don't like it, or 2 sessions, you don't like that person and leave. Very different, my dear friend, that going to therapy and you leave not because of the therapist, but you leave because it was the time to start exploring and you didn't want to explore. It's a very different thing. The other thing is, I don't know how therapy can help me because I think therapy is for crazy people, and because I think I don't want to open my emotions, and because I am afraid they may judge me, I actually don't explore what is therapy. So you will be more misinformed or not informed. So this is an issue. If you want to know if therapy is for you, you need to start researching about what is therapy and how it can help. If you are listening to this episode right now, there is a high chance that you either had or still have at least one of these fears we mentioned before. And I want to assure you that although that may seem like a big obstacle when trying to reach the goal of starting therapy, most of these fears are based on misconceptions. They don't come to reality. This is why I want to introduce you to the brighter side of therapy so you can see that even when it looks a scary thing to do, it actually can bring you more benefits than you think. Let's talk about when and why you should start therapy. If you have been thinking of pondering your life problems lately, if you feel like you are living with uncontrollable anxiety, or if you feel like your relationships are not working the way you would want them to, then you have a great starting point for your therapy journey. Therapy, as mentioned before, is not only directed at people that have hardcore trauma or clinical depression. The truth is that many people come to therapy with very different goals in mind, like bettering their social and professional skills, preparing themselves for a big upcoming event, like I proposed to my girlfriend and now I want to be ready for the marriage, or I got this big job, or I got a new puppy and I want to relate better with my puppy, or I want to move to another city and I want to be brave to move to another city, or I just start college and it means my first year of college. So all these transitions in life are a good way to start therapy, or when you feel like you want to change your job, or when you feel like you are not being creative enough, or when you are forgetting stuff. All of these episodes that I have been preparing before, it may help you to better understand when is the right time to you. Particularly, there is one about like 2, 3 episodes ago about when is a good time to go to couples therapy. That may help you too. So this is why going to therapy is not always has to have the right time. The right therapist for you will happily assist you in whether you feel ready for therapy or not. So you leave that job for the therapist. The therapist value, and we know the courage that took you to be for in the first day. So once you are there, we start the process. I mean, you don't go to a heart surgery and you say, but I don't want a heart surgery because I don't know how to do the heart surgery. Really? You don't need to know how to do this heart surgery. You just need to be there. Yeah. And receive it. Baby steps to take before you scheduling your appointment. As you can see or listen, choosing to start with your therapy journey can be a huge decision. Not only because it can be scary to accept that you need or want help with your personal or even your professional life, but because you would need to overcome fears of misinformation and distorted beliefs about therapists and how this service can help you. This is why doing a little preparation before scheduling an appointment with a therapist could be very beneficial for you. Here are 3 baby steps that you could do to help you ease your mind when your first therapy session comes. 1. Do your research. Yes, doing research sounds like a big step instead of a small one, but this is a very, very necessary step. You want to make sure that you are scheduling an appointment with the right therapist for you. Exactly like when you research your doctor, yeah? Take your laptop or your smartphone and look around. Psychology Today is a good way to start, or this good therapy, or all of these websites that there are directories for therapists. And if you live not in the United States, there is always directories for services. So you may start by them and pay attention and read what they say. You have an idea what you want to work, and then by reading what they focus on and where is their expertise, you may decide if this is the therapy for you or not. You may also want to think if you want a male or female therapist and if you want to drive or to do in video. It's important to know, at least in the United States, that the person needs to be licensed in the state that you are in the moment of the therapy. You live in California, but you are on vacation on Philadelphia, for example, you need to be with a licensed psychologist there, in the place that your feet are when you take the therapy. That is something important, and you may want to understand the license. Yeah. A person who is licensed in psychotherapy means that they already spend hours and hours and hours and years before they can be granted the license. So this means they already mess up, don't worry. You will not be the first one. Make a list of what you would like to talk about. It can be very helpful for you and your therapist if you have a small or long list, doesn't matter. Those topics that you want to discuss and the goals that you would like to achieve while being in therapy. Trust me, you can never be over prepared. Just prepare yourself until your heart is content. And then you come and share that list with your therapist. You may need to take it slightly and slowly. Yeah, you may need to go slowly by your topics. You don't actually 50 minutes is not enough the first time. You will feel that like wow, I can't believe it's already 50 minutes. Don't worry, it will be another 50 minutes and another 50 minutes, and eventually it's going to be enough for you. I suggest most of the times that therapy is once a week, unless you agree with your therapist in any other way. But normally it's once a week. Keep your mind open. Coming to therapy can help you to see your life in a very different perspective. You need to be ready to accept new perspectives. You have to be open to them. Keep in mind that even though at first it won't be easy, it will be worth it. And something that I always say is the way you are living is painful. This is why you normally come, yeah? Or the way you are living is something that you don't like. This is why you come to therapy. You will pass this painful process and then you will come different to the other side. And when I say painful process means taking the time to explore emotions. It's not really that it's going to be something that you cannot take. Normally, the therapy is less painful than the way that you are living. Seriously, trust me. Normally it's less painful, but you know, we have our ideas when we haven't experienced it. I hope this is helpful to you, that you prepare yourself to go to therapy, that you do your research, make your list, keep your mind open, and that you talk to your insurance if they are going to cover in network or out network. If you are going to pay for yourself, somebody else is going to pay your therapy. All of these things that you plan ahead, and it will be much easier your first session. Then you are ready to enjoy, so to speak, your first session. Not all the sessions are about pain, emotional pain. Sometimes are very joyful. Sometimes are very creative. Sometimes it's like, wow, finally I can see this way. Wow. And there are family members and friends will actually remind you, because this is what happened with my clients. They will remind you, hey, it's time for your therapy. Yeah, because they are happy with the results. Okay. Thank you for being here today. Again, this is Carmen Roman. My job is to help you to have a more harmonious life. So help me to do my job by sharing this episode, by talking about, by asking questions, by sending me an email, why not? And don't tell me your problem, because I don't have time, and also it's not appropriate to just read every problem, from somebody that I don't know. But tell me, what is it that you enjoy about the podcast, and tell me what other topics we can talk about. Bye for now. We have reached the end of another episode of the podcast Emotions in Harmony. See you the next week. Visit www.emotionsinharmony.org, where you can subscribe, find the notes, and be in direct contact with me. Thanks for listening.